After the offense carried Wichita State to a series opening sweep against McNeese State down in Louisiana, it was pitching and defense that did the trick yesterday afternoon in a 4-3 victory over the Omaha Mavericks. Good afternoon and welcome to Eck Stadium. My name is Denny Garrick alongside Tim Slack. And Tim, it was some late offense and some excellent work from the bullpen that saved Wichita State yesterday afternoon.
Well, after relying down in Louisiana on the bats, the Shockers got big outs, Denny, from the bullpen, and the bullpen did a great job. They also had some great defense that picked them up as well.
With so much focus on Grayson Genesta and Alec Boehm in the middle of the order as the Bash brothers, the X factor in this lineup may be Mason O'Brien, who's relied upon to protect those two and drive in runs. He did both yesterday.
Well, it's a familiar name to Shocker fans. He's had cousins and uncles play here. He came through with some clutch hits yesterday, had the big hit in the third inning that got him going. Also had the game-winning sac fly in the seventh. Plus, he's a left-handed bat to complement behind Boehm and then the left-handed Genesta. So he's a guy to watch out for all season long.
The skies have cleared, the sun is out, and we are ready for baseball. We've got starting lineups next on Shocker HD.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today.
They're ready to go.
Keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Underway from Eck Stadium, Thomas DeBonville standing in from the right side for the Mavericks as Liam Eddy, the freshman right-hander, has dealt strike one and now strike two to jump ahead. Our first pitch coming at about 12:01 p.m. Central Standard Time, and the Shockers trying to take game two of this series, the first of a double dip here this afternoon. Eddy's 0-2 pitch is tapped to the left of the mound, charging in his Boyer. Fields throws on the run, and it's just ahead of a hustling DeBonville. One up and one down for the Mavericks. We'll go ahead and set the defense for Wichita State. It looks like this. Gunnar Troutwine behind the plate. Mason O'Brien is over at first base. Luke Ritter at second. Jordan Boyer is the shortstop, made that nice play. It's Alec Boehm at the hot corner. Travis Young, Grayson Genesta, and Dayton Dugas from left to right in the outfield. Freshman right-hander Liam Eddy making his second career start for Wichita State, and his first pitch to Cole Thibodeau is a strike, 0-1. Eddy was brilliant in his first outing as a Shocker, picking up the victory down in Louisiana against McNeese State with 5 1/3 quality innings. 0-1 misses just down and in.
Eddy has been fantastic in terms of what he did in the fall for Wichita State, and his teammates rave about his composure. You're going to see the same guy in the first as you do in the fifth.
Big slow windup, check swing from Thibodeau. They will appeal down to third base umpire Mark Hutchinson. He says no swing. 2 balls and a strike. It's DeBonville, Thibodeau, and Crumweedy leading things off for the Omaha Mavericks here in the top of the first. Ben Polinsky in the cleanup spot if anyone reaches. Down and in from Eddy. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, Liam Eddy, big freshman, 6'4", listed at 170 pounds out of Brighton, Colorado. Talk about his fastball command. He's also got a great curveball that he'll mix in as well.
And can throw it for strikes, but he does not throw this fastball for a strike because it's in tight to Thibodeau, who draws himself a 5-pitch walk. First base runner of the game for either side will bring Keel Crumweedy to the plate. But talking a little bit more about Eddy, and just seems like he has the composure and the temperament not really befitting of a true freshman. He has really grasped this role in the starting rotation. It's not often that you see a true freshman slide right into the Saturday spot for Wichita State. Long pause in his first to Crumweedy's down and outside.
And I think the respect that he's already gained from his teammates, talking to Trey Vickers before this game, and he said, man, that guy is unfazed, talking about Eddy, saying that it is a composure, a posture that you just don't see freshmen have.
There's the breaking ball. He missed down with it and is battling some command issues early. Alec Boehm is going to call time and jog in from third base for a quick word with his freshman right-hander. At first start at McNeese State, Eddie, 5 1/3 innings, he allowed 6 hits and 2 runs, both of which were earned. Struck out 6. He only walked 1. And he missed down and in another fastball, and Crumweedy firmly in the driver's seat at 3-0.
Well, Omaha yesterday showed a lot of patience in their lineup, and I think that's a big departure from what we saw with a group that struggled offensively last year. They've brought in a lot of junior college guys. Crumweedy is one of those.
And a 4-pitch walk from Eddie, who has put the last 2 on with free passes. And a couple aboard for Ben Polensky as Gunnar Troutwine will call time and walk the baseball out to his right-hander.
And that was a big part of the approach yesterday from the Mavericks was they seemed very intent on seeing pitches. They got 3-4 pitches deep, it seemed like, the first and second time through the lineup against Cody Hoyer. And with the freshman, you kind of want to make him prove his mettle. We're talking about his composure, and Omaha has gone out with their bats so far and said, okay, let's see how often you fill the strike zone up.
Shockers walked 4 yesterday, 3 from Cody Hoyer and 1 from Chandler Sanborn. As Polensky digs in and takes down and outside. Polensky wore the collar yesterday. He was 0 for 4. 3 of those ground outs to the right side and then a sacrifice bunt. And Mike Steele has already called time. He wants to come out and chat with his freshman. And meanwhile, athletic trainer Dan Cahill is checking on something as well with Luke Ritter, the second baseman.
Well, for Steele, this is just a quick check on the freshman. He's thrown 9 out of his last 10 pitches have been out of the strike zone. And now you get to a point where it becomes a lot more mental than it is physical. We've talked about the composure. You see Mason O'Brien giving Liam Eddy a little back massage, neck rub on the mound. It's just to settle the guy in, let him know the defense has his back, and allow him to get back and trust his stuff. You know, you can have all the composure in the world, but until you go out there and feel like you're comfortable, especially in your first home start, there's something about doing it that will just take whatever nerves are there and put them at rest.
So the meeting on the mound is adjourned, and a 1-0 count to Polensky. Downstairs. Polensky starting the year 4 for 16, one of those junior college transfers that Tim alluded to. This is basically an all-new lineup for Omaha, and there's a pretty good reason why. They did not have a good season last year. 12-40, just 9-19 in the Summit League. Downstairs again, and Liam Eddy cannot find the strike zone. 3 balls and no strikes.
Well, it speaks a lot to the trust that Evan Porter has developed with this new group of guys. There's an all-Summit player, the lone returner that was an all-league player last year, Grant Saponchik, as a DH, not even in the lineup today.
There's a strike as Eddy grabs the inside corner with a fastball, 3-1. Basically, the only returners for Omaha are not even in the same spots. Cole Thibodeau moving from second to third base. Adam Caniglia moving from center field to behind the plate. 3-1. On the inside corner again. Polensky thought about it, but checked the swing. It's a strike anyway, and the count is run full.
And see the 3-1 offering. Polensky not really in attack mode. And this is a ball up right about the top of the zone, about the belt, to get the call.
So a big pitch early here for Liam Eddy. We'll see if the runners are in motion. They're not. 3-2, grounded back to the mound. Eddy's got it. Goes to second for 1. Boyer on to first in time. 1-6-3, and Liam Eddy gets out of trouble in the top of the first. A couple of walks, but no damage. Onward to the home half we go. No score here on WSU-TV.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Luke Ritter, Grayson Genesta, and Alec Boehm, right, left, right, due up for the Shockers here in the home half of the first inning. No score, as Wichita State will do battle against redshirt freshman right-hander Joey Machado, 6'4", 215 pounds from Omaha, Nebraska. A couple freshman righties going at it here this afternoon.
Call it a tough luck loss when your team scores 25 runs in a weekend and you get the loss for allowing 2 earned runs because your team only gives you 1 run of support.
That was Machado's fate against Northwestern in Omaha's series opening set against the Wildcats as he misses up and inside to Luke Ritter. The starting lineup for Wichita State looks like this. Ritter leading off at second base. Genesta's in center field. Boehm at third. O'Brien at first. Jackson, the designated hitter. Dugas in right. That's the only switch in the order. Jackson and Dugas flipping places in the 5 and 6 hole. Then Young, Troutwine, and Boyer rounded out. Ritter ahead in the count now, 2 balls and a strike. Defensively for Omaha, it goes to Bonville, Doherty, and Polensky from left to right in the outfield. Thibodeau, Crumweedy, Gam, and Rogers around the horn on the infield. And Caniglia, the battery mate for Joey Machado, who evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ritter 1 for 2 yesterday, drew a couple of walks. 2-2 breaking ball, grabs the inside corner, got him looking.
Well, Ritter at the top of the lineup for the Shockers is there to get on base. He's there to see pitches, set the table for Genesta and Boehm. But this is a good pitch from Machado. 2-2 payoff pitch, breaking ball, looking maybe fastball there. Didn't really seem to be looking for that inside pitch and ends up with the backwards K.
Stayed elevated a little bit more than I think Machado would have hoped for, but probably had Ritter looking for something else. He notches the K as Genesta grounds it sharply to the right side, but Gam is over to gobble it up, and his toss to first is in plenty of time. 2 up and 2 down for Wichita State.
Well, we talked about Omaha's patience the first time through the lineup. The Shockers don't necessarily put the same restrictions on a lot of their hitters, and Genesta, you can best believe, is going to have the green light every time he goes up there. He was looking for a pitch to drive, maybe hit it squarely, it seemed like, just got on top of it a bit.
He was very aggressive yesterday against both Saponchik and Jake Pennington, but the Shockers as a team drew 9 walks as Boehm takes up and outside. Alec Boehm had another productive day offensively, 1 for 2, drew a couple walks. You're seeing the very odd starting stance for Machado. Almost looks like a sprinter in his blocks with 1 foot directly behind the other. Boehm lashes it foul back over our heads and out of play.
Almost reminds me of some of those starting motions that you'd see from guys in the early 1900s with the big windup. You mentioned it in warm-ups. You don't see too many guys take their hands over their heads. He's got elbows flailing everywhere. Left foot is back to start the rubber.
Cut on and miss by Boehm. He's got the old school socks too. It is a very retro look for Joey Machado today. He is ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Boehm, trying to answer the scoreless frame tossed up by Liam Eddy, who had to work around a couple of free passes and some serious bouts with control issues in the top of this first. Boehm drives it deep down the left field line, but it is going to go foul. Definitely had the distance, but was never fair as Boehm was out in front of a breaking ball.
Well, he got the flight plan out to Valley Center set up there. We're going to see this again as he certainly got all of it just a little too soon. And that's a good pitch from Machado. If you're going to go into a guy like that, stay off the plate, stay on his hands.
Tried to run it in again. This time it stayed upstairs, 2-2. Looked pretty similar to the 2-2 breaking ball that he threw to Ritter. Ritter could not pull the trigger and went down looking. Boehm had no such issue. 2-2. Upstairs with a fastball, 88 miles an hour on the gun, and it's run full.
So one thing we're seeing from Machado already is he's got a good mix of pitches. We saw it a lot with Saponchik yesterday, too, and I think that has a lot to do with the plan in attacking the Wichita State hitters. They're throwing breaking balls in all counts.
Full count pitch is rifled to short on a hop. Great pick by Crumweedy, and his throw to first will retire Bohm. Nice play by the Omaha shortstop, and the Shockers go down in order in the bottom half of the first. To the second we go, no score on WSU-TV.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Liam Eddy had an on and off relationship with the strike zone in the top half of the first inning, issuing back-to-back walks and falling behind Ben Polensky 3-0, but he got a big 1-6-3 double play to toss a scoreless top of the first. Wichita State turned aside 1-2-3 in their half of the inning as Braden Rogers, Parker Schmeckel, and Tyler Doherty due up for the Mavericks here in the second.
Not the way you draw it up, right? Only throwing 6 strikes in an inning, but when you get 3 outs, it's all that matters.
First one to Rogers, a fastball across the outside edge, 0-1. Yeah, 18 pitches for Eddy in that first inning, 12 balls, 6 strikes, but a 0 on the scoreboard, all that matters. Breaking ball, strike, quickly jumps ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you saw his numbers in that outing against McNeese State. He's 1-0 on the season, arguably the best start of that weekend series for the Shockers down in Lake Charles, Louisiana, 5 1/3 innings. He's a guy, and you look at these numbers, he allowed 6 hits. He only issued 1 walk, so he's already exceeded that. But that's the kind of stuff you like to project based off of that. You get excited about outings like that.
Wichita State is not known for just throwing freshmen into the weekend rotation as Rogers skies it out into shallow left field. Charging it is Young, and he will settle under it to make the catch. 1 up and 1 down for the Mavericks here in the second. It is a program that is built on having a weekend rotation that is set at the beginning of the season, and it is very hard to make your way into that. So if you are a freshman starting on Saturdays, in this case a Sunday due to the weather delay, it's pretty clear that you've got some big-time stuff.
And I think that there's some questions that are fair about some of the guys who came back. We've already seen some of the roles change. Tommy Barnhouse looked fantastic in the bullpen. Probably get a chance to talk about him at some point in this doubleheader today. But as roles change, then other questions come up, and this Saturday spot in the rotation is a question that they're hoping Liam Eddy can be the answer to.
Swing and a miss. Blew it right by Parker Schmeckel, and it's 0-2. Schmeckel had a rough go of it yesterday, 0 for 4 with a couple of punch-outs, and went down looking with a potential tying run at third base in the 8th inning against Barnhouse yesterday. 0-2 from Eddy. Chopped foul.
Well, and that was a big part of the Shockers' success, especially in the bullpen yesterday, to keep Schmeckel down because he had a big series against Northwestern. He was hitting over 500 in that series. He scored 3 times. He was a big catalyst in the middle towards the end of that lineup.
Fastball on the inside edge. Got him looking, and Parker Schmeckel will turn and head back to the dugout as Liam Eddy records his first strikeout of the ballgame.
Well, we saw a pitch earlier where Luke Ritter wasn't expecting the curveball. This is Schmeckel not expecting the fastball. Perfect location, right at the knees. Paint!
You can hit that inside edge consistently. it opens up a lot of doors for you as Eddie looks for his first 1-2-3 inning against Tyler Doherty. You mentioned, Tim, Eddie from Brighton, Colorado, and what's interesting is he was probably better as a hitter than as a pitcher in high school. His senior year, 11 home runs, a slugging percentage of 1373. Was named the 5A Player of the Year in Colorado as Doherty taps it foul. On-base percentage of 707. So if you're following along, that's an OPS of over 2,000.
This one hurts right off the leg. Well, you talk about Eddie, and I think you give credit to the Shockers coaching staff for identifying him as a pitcher. You know, sometimes you get a lot of guys who come over, they're basketball players, sometimes they're wide receivers in football or quarterbacks in football, but you come out and you find a good athlete and you teach them to buy into the system, and guys have success.
Doherty reaches out and pokes a curveball through the right side, and he records the Omaha Mavericks' first hit of the ball game, shooting it past Luke Ritter. And a runner aboard with 2 out for Adam Caniglia.
First hit for either team, and this is just a good piece of hitting from Doherty after the ouchie off of the front leg. You're going to see ball that's middle away, and he just goes with the pitch. Big side on the right side. Curveball probably cut too much of the plate there from Eddie, but that's textbook hitting.
Caniglia 0 for 2 yesterday. He did walk and score a run. Eddie bounces a breaking ball. Runner's going to try for second. Troutwine's throw down right on the bag and gunned down.
Laser.
Tyler Doherty cut down trying to advance on the pitch in the dirt, and Gunnar Troutwine says no, sir. The Mavericks turned aside in the top half of the second. To the home half we go. Still no score on WSU.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
No score into the bottom half of the second inning, and a heck of a play from Gunnar Troutwine to end the last half frame, gunning down Tyler Doherty and a pitch in the dirt. Mason O'Brien will lead it off for Wichita State, and he's hit on the foot. First pitch down and inside from Machado. And O'Brien, after just one pitch, will take the trot down to first base as the Shockers have their first base runner.
Well, O'Brien had a fantastic day yesterday, couple of runs driven in, and here it's all about just being in the right place.
Alex Jackson will stand in now for Wichita State. Had a brutally tough luck, 0 for 4 yesterday. Lined into a double play right at the shortstop. He flew out to deepest right center field and then was robbed on a great play by the second baseman, Gam, who dove and turned it into a 4-6 fielder's choice. Jackson takes down an inside 1-0. Machado worked a 1-2-3 first, a strikeout and a couple of well-struck grounders from Genesta and Bohm. Off the first base side of the rubber, the right-hander deals. Missed down and away. 2 balls and no strikes.
First look at Machado in the stretch. It's still just about as funky as his windup is. He's got a little squat as he goes into it. Starts open as he's looking in. Yeah, you see the offset feet there. Left foot a little bit closer towards the first base side. And you see a little bend to the knees.
Jackson taking all the way on 2-0, takes a strike.
Sometimes, though, as a pitcher, you like being unique. You like being different because if you're coming from the same angle all the time, if you're doing the same things, guys get into a rhythm at the plate against you. He's got a little quirk that you got to put a little question mark in the back of your mind.
Jackson loops it out into right center field, charging in Polensky. He'll make the catch, now throws on the run back to first, and it's going to be in time.
O'Brien strayed too far from the first base bag here. He thought that ball was going to get down, and it didn't. It just hung up forever, as that allowed Polensky to get to it. Polensky really not a whole lot of extra effort, but you see O'Brien as he gets off the bag. He thinks this ball's down right there now. Oh, too late, and Polensky makes the catch. He's able to get rid of it pretty quickly and get the out.
So for the second straight game, Alex Jackson is hit into a double play in his first at-bat as a swing and a foul tip by Dugas, and Caniglia promptly throws it past the mound and on into center field. 0-1 on the Shockers right fielder.
In Jackson's defense, though, neither of those are his fault. Both of those have been balls that have been hit in good places, just at people.
Missed outside to Dugas, 1-1. The Shockers have had their issues with base running in this series already. They wasted a golden opportunity to kind of blow the game open late yesterday when they attempted double steal, appeared to have some miscommunication. Swing and a miss by Dugas, 1-2. Runners at first and third, and Bohm took off from first base, was cut down with Genesta still standing on third, kind of squelched a rally. 1-2, fastball tips off the glove.
You know, and those are the mistakes that, you know, as you get further into the season, a lot of hype has been made about the Shockers moving to the American Conference. You see the patch on Dugas' jersey. But those are the mistakes that you want to be tightening up the more you get along. Shockers already committed 2 base running mistakes in the first, 10 innings of the series.
Dugas skies it into left center field. Doherty cruising over, calling off the left fielder DeBonville and making the catch. And it is a little bit of an unorthodox 1-2-3 frame for Machado, but a couple zeros thrown up. To the third we go. No score on WSU-TV.
I worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Adam Caniglia, Max Gam, Thomas DeBonville, 8-9-1 coming to the plate for the Omaha Mavericks here in the top half of the third inning. No score here at Eck Stadium, the first of a doubleheader here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Wichita. First pitch temperature right about 50 degrees and a stark departure from yesterday when it was bleak and cold and windy and just about exactly what you would expect from late February in the Midwest. But we are happy to have the sunshine as Caniglia will dig in to start this frame.
What are you complaining about the weather for? You were inside all day yesterday.
I'm not complaining. I'm just letting people know.
It was chilly. And that's something, you know, you talk about the bats. That factors into a lineup or both teams, a game in general, just not being able to get the bats going sometimes. It's a pitcher's advantage to pitch in cold weather.
Wind not much of a factor, about 5 to 10 miles an hour, blowing from the right field foul pole to the left as Eddie misses upstairs, 1-1. Caniglia was at the plate when Doherty was cut down, trying to advance to second on a pitch in the turf. And Eddie hits him. So a hit batter in each of the last half innings. The Shockers got a leadoff one to Mason O'Brien, but couldn't cash it in. And the Mavericks get Caniglia aboard on the free pass.
It's a pesky batter, and see, just stand your ground. Exactly like you're taught in Little League to wear a pitch on the inside. But Caniglia yesterday, he just looked like a tough at bat. He's only hitting 100, but at the same time, he's just kind of in there taking pitches, making you work and making you throw the ball over the plate.
Another guy who was a tough at-bat was the man at the plate. That's Max Gamm. He tries to bunt, misses it. Snap throw down to first is just a little late as O'Brien tried a swipe tag on Caniglia.
Well, Troutline's throw is fantastic there, just kind of in the middle of the body of O'Brien rather than on the glove side where he's able to lay a quick tag. But the throw got down there in time. It was just the tag had a hard time because of the placement of the throw.
See if Gamm is squaring again on 0-1. He is. Good bunt this time to the right side. O'Brien's going to field it, and he will apply the tag himself. Gamm retired 3 unassisted. Caniglia moves up to second, and that's a huge part of this Omaha offense. Last year, they led the Summit League with 52 sacrifice bunts, and when you just look at the numbers, this team did not have a whole lot of power. They did not have a whole lot of speed. They have to do the little things like this to generate offense.
Well, this is a good bunt. The only guy who's going to field it is O'Brien. The only play he's going to make is tagging out Gamm. There's no throw available. There's no chance to get that lead runner there.
Top of the order for DeBonville. He bounced out to the shortstop Boyer his first time up. Eddie bounced it well in front of home plate. Good block by Troutwine. He smothers it right at the dish, 1-0.
So DeBonville, who did not play in the series in Northwestern, is a pretty impressive guy, and he was showing off his speed. We're already seeing a great job by Gunnar Troutwine today. He's been busy both blocking and throwing defensively. But DeBonville was included on the Summit League's players to watch this year back at the beginning of February because of the years he had at Eastern Arizona Junior College where he got on base, he hit the ball very well, and he could run a lot.
So third baseman in junior college, moved a little bit to the outfield towards the end of his junior college stint, and now is, of course, starting in left field for the Mavericks, but has a lot of speed, and he showed it off yesterday, including an infield hit. Another breaking ball stays down.
He's going to make you, as a defense, be honest and get rid of the ball quickly. His first hit of the season in the first inning yesterday was just a slow chopper to short that he legged out. And then he also showed some pop with an extra base hit later in the ball game.
Rifled that 2-run double to the gap in right center in the 5th. Eddie gets a swing and a miss. Got him to chase that time, and DeBonville waves over the top of it.
That's just a great pitch, and you're going to see it here. This is a breaking ball that's down. DeBonville thinks it's a fastball about his knees, and the bottom just drops out of it, plummets into the dirt. Troutline's a wall, by the way. He has been fantastic both yesterday and already early today, keeping balls in front of him.
Caniglia, the runner at second. DeBonville fouls it back just below us, still 2-2.
Make a play.
Not today. Window is staying closed. Mavericks with the only base hit in the ballgame so far. That was Doherty's 2-out single into second. Liam Eddy looking for his second Shocker victory and his second Shocker start. 2-2, flicked foul up the right field line. O'Brien in pursuit near the railing, couldn't quite reach it.
Uh-oh.
And O'Brien crumples down to the turf as he went hard into that padded wall. Up quickly as Dan Cahill out of the dugout once again and walking with him back towards his position.
Well, that was just awkward all the way, and that's what was tough. You see the thumbs up from Mason O'Brien there as he tries to shake it off. I think that's one that might scare you a little bit more than it actually hurt, but he did kind of run that wrist awkwardly into the net, but then you're also thinking about the padding. Here you're going to see he tracks it pretty much the entire way, and he's gauging how much room he has. The ball just kind of drifts and drifts and leads him right into the wall. Looks like, luckily, he got his hand up above the padding. That could have been really scary.
Flown into center field. Should be easy for Genesta. And he will make the catch just to the left of the logo as Boyer charging out hard like a shortstop's supposed to do. An infielder is taught to go out until you hear otherwise. Genista had a long run, but that ball was up there forever. And DeBonville retired for the second time today.
Another textbook defensive play from the Shockers. Shortstop has priority on pop-ups over all the other infielders. Center fielder, though, has priority over everybody. And you have both the left fielder and shortstop hustling until they're called off, and the center fielder Genista makes an easy play. Good communication, though.
So Eddie 1 out away from working around the leadoff hit by pitch. He'll have to get through Cole Thibodeau, who walked his first time up. There's a strike from Eddie. It was Thibodeau who was the start of those command issues that Eddie experienced back in the first. He walked Thibodeau and Crumweedy and then went 3-0 on Polensky. So there was a stretch in which he threw 11 balls in 12 pitches, but got out of it thanks to the double play.
Thibodeau, the only lefty in the Omaha lineup, so it's a little bit different look, different approach than you're going to see most of the rest of the lineup.
Bouncing ball to the right side. Ritter's got it. The little underhand flip to O'Brien is in plenty of time. And Liam Eddy works around the leadoff hit by pitch. To the bottom half of the third. Still no score at Eck Stadium. This is WSU-TV.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Got a quarter?
No score into the bottom half of the third here at Eck Stadium. Right-hander Joey Machado has matched Liam Eddy 0 for 0 as he contends with the bottom third of Wichita State's order. Travis Young, Gunnar Troutwine, and Jordan Boyer, a trio of righties, due up in the frame.
And this is a part of the Shockers lineup. Maybe it doesn't get enough attention, hasn't got enough attention to start the year, but Young, excellent guy to get on base, also very quick. But then you got Troutwine, who's swung it well, and Jordan Boyer, who's been an RBI machine.
Young 1 for 3 yesterday, but maybe had one of the bigger hits in the ballgame with that RBI triple in the 6th. And he came around to score on Troutwine's RBI groundout. They got the Shockers back even, eventually winning the opener 4-3. Flicks it foul off to the right side and quickly falls into an 0-2 hole.
One thing we're seeing with Machado thus far, though, is he's been able to keep the Shockers fairly off balance. They struck a couple of balls pretty solidly, but Machado mixing up speeds pretty well between that curveball and then there was a high 80s fastball. And just kind of rocking guys back and forth, trying to disrupt the timing, and he's done a pretty good job thus far.
And he got Young to chase. They had to appeal down to first base, but Josh Shepis rings him up, and Travis Young down on 3 pitches to start things for Wichita State here in the third.
Well, that one's a little bit more like a slider than it was a curveball, but again, just changing pitches, showing off the whole repertoire. Maybe a little early, you never know, but Machado right here, see Young try and hold up. Yeah, he went.
Very good 0-2 breaking ball there from Machado, tempting enough that Young could not check the swing in time, and Wichita State still in search of their first base hit. We'll see if it comes via Gunnar Troutwine, who's off to a .357 start on the season. He was 0 for 3 yesterday, but as I mentioned, still productive. His chopping ground ball up the middle drove home Travis Young in that 6th inning rally for Wichita State. He also walked and reached base on an error.
I talked about his defense thus far, and I think that's important with a fairly young staff. He's working with a freshman pitcher today, and he's kind of the voice of reason, the calming influence on the staff.
Will be interesting to see if he gets the start in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Noah Croft, who was expected to be the starter for Wichita State, is a little bit banged up. And so the number 2 catcher right now is freshman Ross Cadena, who saw a little bit of time down in Louisiana. 1-1 stays downstairs.
Well, I kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday, as you see head coach Todd Butler, who nabbed win number 200 yesterday, but he'll have a decision to make at the catching spot. Do you run a veteran out there who can probably handle it, but you're going to make him catch 18 innings in a ball game, or are you going to give him a break?
Not easy to do. Troutwine bounces it to the right side. Gam ranging over, cuts it off, and throws him out. A bouncing ball that nearly used this artificial turf to squeak on through, but good range from the freshman second baseman.
Well, putting balls in play for the most part against the righty Machado, but he's allowing the defense to work as well. And it's kind of a unique thing, right? When we talk about 2 freshmen, sometimes they're a little bit more hero ball, trying to do it on themselves. But so far, Machado's very content to allow Wichita State to put the ball in play. It's just a little bit more on his terms.
Jordan Boyer watches a pitch work inside. He was 0 for 3 yesterday, but has been a catalyst down at the bottom portion of this Wichita State order. Already has a home run and 4 RBI on the season. Off the plate, 2 balls and no strikes. It was his single in the series finale against McNeese State that propelled Wichita State to the sweep. And he has been excellent in 2-out run scoring situations. Of course, nobody aboard here, trying to restart a rally, and he may do just that. A deep drive into left field, but it's going to hang up for the left fielder DeBonville as he makes the catch 1 step in front of the warning track, and Wichita State goes down in order in the bottom half of the 3rd. To the 4th we go. Still no score here on WSU-TV.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Stop by the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes 2 hours prior to all WSU men's basketball games and enjoy great game day specials on food and drinks. It's the perfect place to meet up with friends before all the men's home games. And when the Shockers are on the road, you can catch all the games on TV at the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes, lower level in the Radigan Student Center. Wichita State and the Omaha Mavericks locked in a scoreless tie as we move into the top half of the 4th inning. It's 3-4-5, starting with the shortstop, Keel Crumweedy. Liam Eddy misses up and away, 1-0. 45 pitches now for Eddy as he makes his way through the order for a second time. Crumweedy reached with a walk his first time up. Drives this one into center field, but it's going to hang up there for Genisto, who moves a couple steps to his right and makes the catch.
Really remarkable, even though we're just in the 4th inning right now, to look at that pitch count and see Eddy right about on par, about 15 pitches an inning, a little higher, but that's all right, especially 1 pitch, 1 out. That's a great way to start it. But you look at that first inning, he only threw 6 strikes. We talked about that. And his ability to come back and bounce back and then adjust here in the second and third innings has been fantastic.
Drops a breaking ball downstairs to Polensky, 1-0, and this was the guy who allowed him to kind of right the ship. Fell behind 3-0 with 2 men aboard and just 1 out, but got back in the count with a couple of strikes, then induced the 1-6-3 double play. Missed just up and away, 2-0.
Well, you saw the confidence come back, right? Not only did he field the ground ball that he got, he made a good throw to second, and then he came out in the second inning like he hadn't had any of that damage.
Polensky, a high fly ball down the left field line, drifting into foul territory. Young over across the line and makes the catch just onto the warning track.
Well, it looks really routine, and Young does a great job using his speed to do that, but that's not easy. You're coming in, you're taking a weird angle, you're also having to be aware of the wall, and see, giving way to the infielders rather, who know that Young's got priority on that. It's also out towards him. Couple of feet away from the wall, no problem.
And Eddie inducing a lot of fly balls. He has gotten 4 over the last 2 innings plus as Braden Rogers comes to the dish now and takes a strike. He was one of those with a fly out to Travis Young his first time up.
Well, Eddie has used the fly ball today. Ball not necessarily jumping off bats, but he has allowed his defense to work on some kind of harmless fly balls thus far.
Quickly gets ahead 0-2. This is the rare day at Eck Stadium in which there is not gale force winds blowing in some direction. Typically, those are going to be out to the left, and you do not want to allow fly balls to get up in that jet stream. Line back at the mound. Eddie knocks it down. He will recover and flip underhand to first ahead of Rogers. Look what I found for Liam Eddy. He's got himself a 1-2-3 inning and another 0 on the scoreboard. Still no score. Bottom half of the 4th coming up.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Pitch over the railing and out of play, 0-1 as Joey Machado is trying to respond to another 0 tossed up there by Liam Eddy. These two freshman righties dueling right now, just 1 hit on the scoreboard combined as a breaking ball skips in a ball and a strike. Ritter was a strikeout victim back in the first. He went down looking.
He's an on-base machine, though. Yesterday he was on base quite a bit for the Shockers.
Late on a fastball 1-2.
And I think that's kind of the thing. You made the joke, and I'll steal it before the broadcast, but he's a sabermetrics dream. He's a guy, he hasn't got a ton of hits yet this year, but he's getting on base, and you love to see Genesta coming up in the 2 spot with a guy on every time.
And he foul tips it into the mitt. Second strikeout for Ritter as Machado continues to cruise along. He's got 3 punch-outs in the ball game already as slips this breaking ball by him on the outside edge.
Well, I'll tell you, Machado has come right at the Shockers so far today. That's a great curveball, outer half. Ritter trying to drive it the other way, but Machado so far has been excellent, and I think I don't use that term lightly. He's under 40 pitches through 3 1/3, but he has mixed speeds well. He has kept the Shockers off balance.
Genesta, first pitch hacking, and an aggressive hack it was. He fouls it off to the left of us, 0-1. He had one of the better swings in the ballgame so far. A sharply struck grounder out to the second baseman, Gam, his first time up.
And that says a lot about Machado's work, right? That the hardest hit ball is a grounder to the second baseman.
Genista again fouls it away, 0-2. It was Genesis' grounder to second, Bohm's hard one hopper to short, and Boyer's fly out to left. About the only solid contact to speak of so far for Wichita State, still in search of their first hit. Only had 4 in the ballgame yesterday. Went right after him on 0-2, and he gets Genista to chase. The toss down to first base by Caniglia, and back-to-back punch-outs for Joey Machado.
Well, starting to see more right now from Machado, even than we did the first time through the order when he looked tough to hit. These first 2 at-bats, he looks almost impossible to see. It's like the Shockers are guessing wrong right now, and a lot of that has to do with his ability to throw that breaking ball in the strike zone.
2 out and nobody aboard for Alec Bohm. As I mentioned, lined one out to short his first time up. Fastball runs down and away, 1-0. It's an Omaha team in search of somebody who can take the ball consistently on weekends and provide quality starts. Last year that was certainly an issue. A team ERA just under 7. Bounced in 2 balls and no strikes, and really that was the least of their worries. When you look at a team that ranked in the low 200s in just about every offensive category, 276th in the country in terms of runs scored for the Mavericks last year, 270th in fielding percentage. So if it's not clicking offensively, it wasn't clicking defensively, and it wasn't great on the mound either. You can see why they finished 12-40. 2-0. Lined into deep center field by Bohm. Doherty on his horse. He's not going to get to it. It'll take one hop and go over the wall for a ground rule double.
Well, Alec hasn't seemed to be fooled today by Machado. He hit one foul a couple of miles long. In this one, he is right on time. He missed a home run his last at bat just by degrees. This one, he's going to go right back up the middle. Machado catches a lot of plate with this one. Fastball right down Broadway. And Bohm turns it right back around. Something he is so fantastic about. If you're going to make a mistake, he will punish you, and he does that there, extra bases.
Probably for the best it didn't hit the wall, as it likely would have knocked it down. But Bohm is in scoring position with 2 out. Mason O'Brien to the dish. Takes outside. O'Brien, prior to that hit, the only base runner for Wichita State, as he was plunked leading off the second, but then was promptly erased on a double play. Deep drive down the right field line by O'Brien is going to go foul, but an impressive blast nonetheless. Moves the count to 1-1.
Well, you mentioned it. This is only the second time that Machado has had to work out of the stretch today, and kind of seems like that is at a premium in college baseball these days. A pitcher who only has to go into the stretch for a couple of batters in the first couple of innings.
High fly ball into right center field. This should be playable for Polensky. Settling under it, makes the call and the catch, and the Shockers get a 2-out double from Alec Bohm, but nothing else. We move to the 5th. Still no score at Eck Stadium. This is WSU-TV.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Not much to separate Wichita State and Omaha through the first 4 frames. Both teams no runs on a hit with no errors as a couple of freshman righties going at it in the first of a double dip here this afternoon. Game 2 will follow about 40 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1 as Parker Schmeckel, the designated hitter, will dig in to get this top of the 5th inning underway. Schmeckel, the lone strikeout victim for Liam Eddy. He cuts and misses on a first pitch inside, 0-1. He went down looking on a fastball that locked him up back in the second. It's high. Ball in the strike. Schmeckel, a guy who is certainly familiar with the Wichita area, played his junior college baseball at Coffeyville. And the Region 6 tournament is typically played over at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. Bounced 2 balls and a strike.
He's one of those guys, he endured last season with the Mavericks, but Schmeckel is a bat in this lineup that they trust because of his experience, but he's also a guy who uses the whole field.
Grounded sharply out to short. Boyer slides on the backhand, pops up, throws to first, and O'Brien can't quite dig it out. A tough chance on both ends. Jordan Boyer making a nice sliding stop deep in the 6 hole and got rid of it quickly, but Mason O'Brien, who made a couple of nice picks yesterday, unable to come up with this one.
This is a fantastic stop. You see the slide, and you know the throw is probably going to be short. O'Brien does a great job trying to get in front of it, but it ends up being a tough play all the way around. It's going to go as the second hit of the game.
So now it's Doherty. And he'll make a move over.
You know, just to kind of explain that a little bit better, you know, any time that the effort exceeds routine, right? We talk about that. What is a routine play? Boyer kind of took the routine out of it from the beginning. The throws maybe a little bit more online. Maybe it's something that O'Brien can handle, but you can't necessarily put the error on O'Brien for trying to dig a ball out. And so here's one more look at it. We should be able to see O'Brien on this end. Still a fantastic job by Boyer. But here it is. It's just off to the side. It's a short hop. Can't necessarily put that error on O'Brien for routine play because of the dig. It's a tough call.
I think a hit, the right decision. Doherty has now stabbed and missed at a couple of bunt attempts and is down 0-2.
And I guess to finish the thought, of course you're not going to put the error on Boyer because, one, the slide and the stop was exceeding routine effort to begin with. And then the throw just to get it there in time was kind of an extra.
See if Doherty still has the bunt on here on 0-2. What will Evan Porter elect to do? As a fastball misses down and away, no sign of a bunt there.
Well, you still get the feeling, even though Omaha had that 3-run 5th inning yesterday, you still feel like they feel base runners are at a premium for them, and giving up outs in the middle of an opportunity. Let him swing, see what he can do. Hopefully stay out of the double play is what Porter's thinking.
Schmeckel over at first base, 1 for 1 in stolen bases on the season. Last year he was 1 for 4 in swiping bags, so not really a threat to go. 1-2, flown into center field. Genestis started back, but now coming in onto the big Wichita State logo out there, makes the catch.
I think both sides will take that. Omaha is happy that it wasn't a double play or something on the ground. Wichita State happy to have the double play still intact. But it kind of moves the chess piece, the chess game, one step further down the road.
Caniglia was hit by a pitch his first time up. That's the other leadoff base runner that the Mavericks have registered in the ballgame so far. No score, top half of the 5th, the first of an afternoon doubleheader here at Eck Stadium. Eddy has checked on Schmeckel over at first base a couple of times.
Not necessarily a stolen base threat. You mentioned the numbers, but it's more just about keeping the double play intact and not letting Schmeckel get a good jump.
Just missed upstairs from Eddie. If you're thinking hit and run, Caniglia handles the bat pretty well. He has only struck out twice so far this year. A pretty short lead over at first base for Schmeckel. I can't imagine he will be in motion at any point during this at bat, unless maybe the count runs full. Nice spot there from Liam Eddy as he grabs the outer black and evens things up at a ball and a strike.
Well, you're also thinking hit and run at this point too. Try and stay out of that, and that's a big reason why Wichita State is keeping Schmeckel there. Try and prevent Omaha from opening up the right side. See Schmeckel trying to inch away. He's trying to extend that lead.
Caniglia pops it up behind home plate. Troutline gave it a look, and it's going to be back over the screen and onto the concourse. Middle infield pinch towards the bag at second and hopes for that double play. Outfield pretty much straight up all the way around for Adam Caniglia, who, as we mentioned, was an outfielder most of last season for this Omaha team. He has had some success in his career. As a sophomore, hit .310 with 10 doubles and 3 homers. Flies this one down the right field line. Duga has a beat on it, moving towards the line. Slides, and he can't make the catch, as Ritter was also going out in a hurry as well. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication as Duga arms up, wondering what Luke Ritter was doing in the vicinity, but that was nearly a nasty collision.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It had to have been miscommunication as to what's going there. Boyer's going out, Ritter's going out the entire way there. And you see just neither of them check on each other, and Duga all of a sudden gets surprised as he goes into his slide that Ritter was even that close to him.
And Dayton fooled me. It looked like he had that ball measured the whole way and only went into a sprint in the last couple of steps, as Eddie misses away to even things up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Definitely pitching for the double play right now, and that has been the approach that the Shockers have taken. But Caniglia is very patient. He's very picky. And I think the numbers are quite deceiving with his approach.
Ground ball, shortstop. Boyers got it, goes to second, and that's all they're going to get. But nice play from Jordan Boyer, and good recognition too from Luke Ritter, recognizing that was not a double play ball. He stretched out to ensure the out as Schmeckel's retired and Caniglia reaches on the fielder's choice.
Oh, that was the right move by Ritter. He went into the stretch, albeit with the awkward foot, but Boyer ranging to his right has been very good. You're going to see this here as soon as this ball goes into the hole. Ritter realizes his opportunity, his window is closing, keeps the left foot on the bag, but he's able to make the play, and the Shockers are sure of one, and that's a big second out.
So it's Max Gam with Caniglia on and first and 2 outs now. Eddie throws strike 1. Fastball jumping ahead of the Mavericks second baseman, who laid down a sacrifice bunt his first time up.
He's a pesky 9-hitter. You know, we talk a lot about Jordan Boyer at the bottom of the lineup, but Gam had a very good day and was kind of the catalyst for Omaha's offense yesterday. And that's something sometimes that I think gets overlooked, is you have a lineup with guys who carry the numbers, and a lot of times they're going to float to the top or be the middle of your lineup. But sometimes good lineups are built around the back end, the 7, 8, 9, that take good at-bats.
Good swing by Gam, fouls it back 1 and 2. And Omaha scored all 3 of their runs in 1 inning yesterday. That was in the 5th, and they have shown a propensity to do just that, put up runs in bunches. In their first game of the season, that 14-8 win against Northwestern, they only scored in 3 innings, but they had 2 4-run frames and a 6-run outburst in the 7th to put that game away. To borrow from the Kansas City Royals, they do a decent job of keeping the line moving. Tapped foul as Eddie had Gam reaching at a 1-2 breaking ball, but he stays alive.
Well, and to back up your point, that's a lot about multiple guys stepping up, right? That's not one or two guys necessarily doing a lot of damage all the time, although it can be in bunches. But a lot of times you need multiple guys to get on base to continue to keep that line moving. You need multiple guys to take good at bats in order to do that.
1-2 from Eddy. Got him looking. Fastball on the outside edge, and Liam Eddy records his second strikeout of the ball game to throw up yet another 0 here in the top of the 5th. To the home half we go. Still no score on WSU-TV.
I worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Shockers trying to get something going. They have been stymied by freshman right-hander Joey Machado, but thanks to Liam Eddy, we are still scoreless into the bottom half of the 5th. It's Alex Jackson, Dayton Dugas, Travis Young, 5, 6, 7, due up for Wichita State.
Well, Machado only making his second career collegiate start, and he has looked a lot more like a veteran than he has a freshman so far.
Jackson got jammed. A little pop-up to the left side of the infield. Waiting for it to come down, and making the catch is Thibodeau. And it's 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th.
I think that kind of goes to the point, right, Denning, is you have a guy that was an 87-mile-an-hour fastball, and he's able to use it to get in on the hands of a left-handed hitter. He's mixed speeds so well that that fastball kind of plays a lot harder than it actually is. He's able to get inside on these guys. He's chewed up some bats today. He's only allowed 1 hit.
It's down and away to Dugas, who flew out to center field his first time up. And unless my eyes are deceiving me, Machado has changed his windup. He is no longer going to that exaggerated runner start as it's flicked back foul to even things up at a ball and a strike. The feet are now parallel with the rubber.
He did that last inning a little bit. He moved that left foot in front of the right foot, which was opposite. That left foot was almost a foot behind his right foot in the first couple innings.
Dugas drives it deep to left field. This ball is not coming back. Dayton Dugas off the scoreboard in left. And Wichita State grabs a 1-0 lead here in the bottom half of the 5th. No doubt about it off the bat as Dayton Dugas picks on a hanging breaking ball. And from contact, this was going out of here in a hurry.
That's just sheer power. That ball is down it and away, and Dugas just yanks it to left field. That is pure power from Dugas, and that's got to be the type of catalyst that you want to see to get Dayton going.
Young takes upstairs for Dayton, his first home run of the season. And he gives Wichita State a 1-0 lead in a game in which runs have been hard to come by. Certainly the only blemish for Machado, aside from Bohm's 2-out double, but that came on a 2-0 count, where with the bases empty and 2 outs, he was more than content to throw up a cookie and let Bohm swing away. But in this case, victimized by Dayton Dugas.
You know, and that wasn't a bad pitch either. It showed that it was down and away early in the count. That's not necessarily a ball that you see college hitters pull and pull with power, and that's exactly what Dugas is able to do. And that's part of the excitement about Dayton when people talk about him. It's the fact that he has just raw power, that as he puts it together and he continues to develop as a hitter, he's just so strong. He's so strong. And those are the types of things that he can do. That ball hit, what, 3/4 of the way up on the scoreboard? That's power.
It's been a guy that Wichita State has just been waiting for him to put it all together. Because when he does, this lineup becomes a lot more dangerous. As Caniglia went out for a quick visit with Machado. Young pops it up. Left side again. Thibodeau. Everybody calling for it. It is Thibodeau at the last second who puts it away, as Caniglia was kind of half-hearted in his pursuit of it from behind home plate. That's a tough catch for a catcher. Rogers sprinted all the way over from first base. It was Thibodeau eventually who squeezes.
Well, Thibodeau looked the least interested in it of all three of them. He just had the easiest route to it. Caniglia's got to turn around, try and get a beat on it. He was never going to get around it, as they say. And Thibodeau finally forced into action, made the play, but he sure made it look interesting.
Excuse me, swing from Gunnar Troutwine, and he rolls it out to Gam, whose flick to first is in time. But Wichita State has grabbed the lead on the solo homer from Dayton Dugas. We move to the 6th. It's 1-0 Wichita State on WSU-TV.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Dayton Dugas' solo homer giving Wichita State a 1-0 lead as we move into the top half of the 6th inning, and a little bit of a cushion for Liam Eddy, who has been outstanding in his second Wichita State start. No runs on just 2 hits through the first 5 innings. He'll deal with the top of the Omaha order.
Dayton Dugas, first home run of the year, got to feel pretty good. The sheer power as he gets it out. You know, sometimes doesn't he look like he could go out and play tight end somewhere? Just a big guy, sheer shoulder width. He's a guy with a lot of pop, and you see the swing here, goes down and gets it. And that gets the Shockers on top.
It's Thomas de Bonville to lead things off for the Mavericks here in the 6th. He is grounded out to short and flown out to center. No, it's interesting you mentioned, good breaking ball there from Eddy, the thought of Dayton Dugas at tight end. A while ago, I was talking to a couple of the members of the staff at Wichita State about what kind of a football team this roster would make. We talked about the size, just top to bottom. There are a lot of big guys on this team. De Bonville drives it to the gap in right center field. Dugas on the run, Genesta on the run. It's Genesta who calls him off and makes the catch as the wind kind of blew that one back to him. 1 up and 1 down. There are some guys on this team who are excellent football players in high school. You got a couple quarterbacks in Clayton McGinnis and Connor Lungwitz. Travis Young had several Division I offers as a safety. And Dayton Dugas could play wherever the heck he wants. He was, I believe, a defensive back, believe it or not, which is terrifying on several different levels.
You don't want to match up with that as a receiver?
I'm not going across the middle with Dayton Dugas hanging out back there. Thibodeau, a drag bunt, but off the mound is Eddy. He's got it, the little shovel to O'Brien. 2 up and 2 down as Liam Eddy staying composed on the bunt attempt and has a chance for a quick 1-2-3 inning.
Great job by Eddie. He has been fantastic defensively today. We talked about his composure on the mound, but his composure fielding his position, he's looked like a natural there. Well, I'll tell you what, I made the comment yesterday. It kind of seems like Todd Butler starts every description of one of his players, no matter who it is, with, well, he's about 6'4", 220. It just kind of fills out the whole roster. You got about 30 guys up around 6'3", 6'4".
There's a strike to Crumweedy. He has walked and flown out to center.
And there's not very many skinny guys on this team either. They're all guys who are in shape and look like they've spent some time in the weight room.
Shockers will be well represented on the all getting off the bus team. There's another strike. Eddie quickly ahead of Crumweedy, 0-2.
So if it wasn't for the actual basketball team here at Wichita State that has guys approaching 7 feet tall, you start talking about them putting together a basketball team. But it's just a big team, and I think that's a common thread that you have the power there.
3 pitches, and Keo Crumweedy, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Liam Eddy. We move to the bottom half of the 6th. Still 1-0 Wichita State on WSU-TV.
The 6th inning brought to you by the ticket today for your chance to become a millionaire. Go to kslottery.com for the current jackpot amount. Play the game's lottery and dream bigger.
That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
All right, fans, get on your feet and twist like a hurricane. It's time for the Hurricane Sports Crew and Jam. Now, the boys must be on the community to compete against the Hurricane.
Now our game plan is to renovate Coke Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shoptheworld.
Leading off the WSU 6,
see on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday.
Seriously, Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Hey, Greg. Greg.
Got a quarter?
I've got Eddie at 88 pitches, and I've confirmed that with the live stats as well. Yeah.
Leading off the Wichita State 7, designated hitter, Alex Jackson.
Alex Jackson, Dayton Dugas, Travis Young, 5-6-7 for Wichita State against Joey Machado back out there for the bottom half of the 7th. Wichita State in front, 1-0 on Dayton Dugas' solo homer. Liam Eddy has been the story so far. 7 shutout frames, allowing just 2 hits. Jackson corkscrews himself into the ground and grounds it foul.
Well, Machado's been pretty good too, and one thing to pay attention to that we pointed out last inning a little bit is we'll get another look at Machado momentarily, is that left foot keeps coming more forward. What that's doing is that's standing him up.
Oh, would you look at that. Alex Jackson takes out the wedge and just chunks one to the third base side, and the spin on that baseball took it from what looked like it was going to roll into foul territory, spins back just to the left of the mound. Everyone gave up on it, including Alex Jackson. Watch as he barely starts out of the box. Then he starts busting it as this ball trickles back fair. It's a leadoff infield single and some good fortune.
It's a trick shot in pool. It's what you try and do at the end of the cue, right? It just cues it off the end of the bat.
Yonkers will certainly take it on an afternoon where the hits have not been easy to come by for either team. That's just 6 combined in the ball game. And we'll see how aggressive Wichita State wants to be with a very quick base runner over there in Jackson. He was 4 for 5 in stolen bases last year, but his coaching staff raves about his speed. Dugas hammers it foul off to the right side.
Well, the point I want to make about Machado right now, real quick to go back to him, is not necessarily his feet, although that's kind of the indicator. He's standing up more in his initial posture. And I have to wonder if that's not leading to the ball being elevated a little bit more than it was in the first couple of innings. Might be something he does all the time. It's only his 2nd career start.
Pitch out. And Jackson not on the move as Omaha trying to stay cognizant of Alex Jackson over at first base. But that's dangerous with the man up there.
Well, and I was going to say, it's something to watch ultimately, because this is not the guy you want to make the same mistake to again. Not that he made a mistake last time.
Machado's 1-1. Foul back. Dugas went about 3/4 of the way up the scoreboard his last time on a pitch that was really out away from him, but he got the arms extended and still pulled it.
Here it is, just a fastball down and away. And like you said, it wasn't really a mistake. That's just pure power from Machado.
Another move over, and Jackson back in head first.
I guessed wrong. I thought it was a fastball. I thought you saw 87, but you saw very clearly on that replay as the ball went halfway up the scoreboard. You were right. It was a changeup.
There he goes. Pitches down. Caniglia's throws to the wrong side of the bag and into center field. Jackson gets up. He's going to hustle the third base without a play as 2 outfielders collide. And now a big insurance run stands just 90 feet away.
Not the type of confidence you want to instill in your freshman pitcher, as Caniglia's throw just sailed on him. It went up the line. No shot for Gam to be able to hold that one and make the tag. And that, on top of Jackson's good jump, allows him to get to third.
Now a 2-2 count on Duga. The infield has come in about halfway. Line foul up the left field line. Duga just a hair out in front, but had the right idea. Obviously, that has gone down as a stolen base and then a throwing error. The first defensive miscue committed by either team in the ball game today. And that play is a microcosm of something that Omaha really struggled with last year. In 93 stolen base attempts, they allowed 81 successful tries. Duga takes down and away.
Oh.
That is not ideal. Caniglia did throw out a runner yesterday, but that's, you kind of put an asterisk next to that, as it was Alec Boehm off of first base trying to create a double steal.
Yeah, it goes down as a caught stealing.
And Duga takes just outside, didn't miss by much. But the Shockers will have men at the corners with nobody out on a borderline 3-2 pitch. The Shockers get the call.
There's a little exhale from Duga, but he has had like a laser eye on that outside corner today. He knew exactly how far that ball was off the plate after he destroyed the pitch last time he was up.
So now it's Travis Young. Still no activity down in the Omaha pen. Wichita State has Tommy Barnhouse up and beginning to loosen. Young takes downstairs.
Well, we talked about Evan Porter's trust in his young arms thus far, some of the guys that he's brought in as well. But you also have to keep in mind, Omaha is not just thinking about the doubleheader today, but they also play Kansas tomorrow. And that will be a hurdle in terms of bullpen management.
There goes Duga, and there will be no throw. Terrible pitch for Caniglia to throw on. I'm not sure he was going to make an effort anyway, but it's a stolen base for Dayton Duga. And now 2 in scoring position and a 2-0 count to Travis Young.
Well, Duga gets a great jump. Caniglia just does everything he can to keep the ball in front. There was a couple of wild pitches yesterday where Caniglia really had to work. That time, I think they're just happy to keep the runner at third.
So the infield, which was back in hopes of a double play, has now come in once again. 2-0 right down Broadway.
Well, runs at a premium today, and I think Omaha hoping that they can induce Travis Young to keep the ball in the infield. Machado has been very good at mixing up speeds, and they're relying on him to use his craft and escape this jam.
Flown into shallow right field. Going out is the second baseman, Gam. He will make the call and the catch just onto the outfield turf, and that's a big first out for Joey Machado.
Well, pop-ups and groundouts today for Machado. That he has missed the barrel of a lot of bats. But Jackson, he was never really intent on going. He did want to see what Gam would do, but I tell you what, I give Omaha credit to this point. You've seen a lot of composure in terms of how they've gone about. Gam didn't even really flinch when Jackson came off the third base bag.
And so now we're going to get a meeting on the mound as the entire Maverick infield converges around Machado. Left-hander Andrew Brighton has gotten up down in the Omaha pen and just now begun tossing. No matter what happens, it's going to be Machado against Gunnar Troutwine up next in what is a pivotal at-bat in this ball game. Todd Butler has come out of the first base dugout. He wants to chat things over with Sammy Esposito, his third base coach, who will now jog over for a quick word with Troutwine.
Seemed to have a little bit to do with what to do about Duga or a ball hit to the outfield, as Butler kind of pointed out in general. And I think the decision here with Troutwine up is going to have to deal with how firm the ball gets hit.
Machado working out of the stretch. Ground ball right side. They're going to try and score the run, and they will, as Gam can't field it cleanly. He recovers and tosses to first in time, but Jackson comes down from third to score. Duga moves up to third, and it's 2-0 Wichita State.
Well, Gunnar Troutwine does his job here, puts a ball in play, puts it to the right side. Jackson moving on content and the slow ground ball. I don't think Gim ever had a shot at Jackson coming home, but he almost blew his shot at Troutwine at first.
So a big insurance run for Wichita State. There's another one just 90 feet away, and 2 men down for Jordan Boyer. And it's a ball getting by the catcher, Caniglia. Dugas will score without a throw, and it's now 3-0 Wichita State.
Well, this one's tough. As Caniglia had a glove on it, you're going to have to see where exactly that ball was to determine if it was a wild pitch or a pass ball. We'll see if we can get another look at it. And it's a ball that was way out of the frame of Caniglia, and that's going to end up being a wild pitch, but the Shockers will take it either way.
So some charity in this inning. Boyer takes upstairs. A throwing error by Caniglia, and now a wild pitch that allows Wichita State to add on a couple of big runs in support of Liam Eddy. Boyer pops up the 2-0, foul territory. Caniglia and Thibodeau moving over, and nobody even makes an effort. I think both were looking at the other, and it lands right between them.
Well, they've not communicated well on these, and Caniglia never really had a beat on it. He just kind of casually going over, and then he looks at Thibodeau, and they realize, uh-oh.
So new life for Jordan Boyer as the handouts continue in this bottom half of the 7th inning.
Well, I was going to reference it a little bit when we were talking about Dugas taking second on the ball that Caniglia blocked. But there are communication things, whether it's on the wild pitches or the pop-ups, that we'll get to later.
Cut and a miss by Boyer, 2-2.
But the point being that these guys have seemed like, you mentioned Caniglia being an outfielder last year, and Thibodeau played second last year, so you have two guys at different spots. They're still kind of learning their responsibilities almost in terms of communication, and that can be difficult.
Boyer reaches out to protect on 2 balls and 2 strikes, and he flicks it foul. This inning all started on the Alex Jackson Q-shot infield single. And he stole second, advanced to third on the throwing error. Dugas walked. He stole second. Young popped out. Troutwine got 1 in with the ground ball to second, and now a wild pitch has brought home the 3rd Shocker run. 2-2. Lined into deep left center field by Boyer. On the run and making the catch out in deep left center is DeBonville. A good swing from Jordan Boyer, but nothing to show for it. Still 2 in the frame. It's now 3-0 Shockers.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Liam Eddy is going to get a chance to work this 8th inning. The freshman right-hander has tossed 7 shutout frames, and he'll contend with the bottom third of the Omaha order. Tyler Doherty, Adam Caniglia, and Max Gam is working on a spectacular home debut in a Wichita State uniform.
And to think he started with 18 pitches in the first inning, that 2/3 of them were out of the zone. He settled down quite a bit.
Big swing and a miss by Doherty. I think it's natural for any freshman in their home debut to have a little bit of nerves, and it's possible that he just needed to shake those off because he has really settled down.
And I think if you're talking about that's what his nerves look like and he came back and got a double play, I think you'll take that.
And he is working quickly and working efficiently, needling the outside edge. He's in the driver's seat against Doherty, who has singled through the right side and flown out to center in 2 trips. Oh, 2. Swing and a miss, and Doherty was not even close. A breaking ball moving down and away from the right-hand hitting center fielder, and I'm not sure a telephone pole would have got the job done there.
This is getting devastating. Another off-speed pitch. That's a curveball. Just devastating movement down. He struck out the last 3, 4 of the last 5. The breaking ball seems like he's settling in, and it's becoming even more of a weapon here in the later innings.
Caniglia takes just down. He's throwing it for strikes, and then he is using it as a strikeout pitch when he needs to. And when you can do that, it is difficult to sit on any one offering. 1-0 missed downstairs. Caniglia has been hit by a pitch and grounded into a fielder's choice.
Well, we were talking about earlier, you were talking about the opportunity for a freshman to step into the rotation. I think one thing that's been missing for Shockers pitchers in the front line has been that devastating put away pitch. And you see them doing a good work charting over there, kind of trying to get a grasp for what Liam Eddy has done, and they relay it into Gunnar Troutline. But a lot of it has to do with when you can put guys away, that helps accelerate. That helps accelerate really the development of a guy, because you're working longer innings, you're getting better experience later in ball games, and you're becoming a more complete pitcher, as opposed to guys who, when you struggle to put guys away at 1-2, 2-2 sometimes, well, then that forces you to go out of ball games earlier.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Caniglia lines it into right center field. Genista's on the run. He's not going to get to it. It'll take a couple of bounces and go off the base of the wall. Caniglia heading to second base will pull in there with a 1-out double on a nice piece of hitting. Fastball out away from him, and he drives it to the opposite gap.
He's just pesky. He's been pesky all series, and the numbers don't necessarily play it out to a certain degree, but he's been on base 2 times. He reached on the fielder's choice as well, so 3 if you want to count that, but that's a fastball away that he just drives to the gap.
Todd Butler has made his way out of the first base dugout. He has signaled down to the pen, and that will be all for the freshman right-hander Liam Eddy. What a home debut it was. 7 1/3 brilliant innings. He leaves with a 3-0 lead as the Shockers will turn it over to Chandler Sandwern. We'll tell you about the new Shocker arm when we come back. You're watching WSU-TV.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Liam Eddy, what a home debut for the freshman right-hander. He goes 7 1/3 innings, allows just 3 base hits, struck out 6, walked 2, has not allowed a run yet. He is still responsible for the runner Caniglia at second as he turns the ball over to right-hander Chandler Sandwern, who will be facing Max Gam. Sandburn worked in the ball game yesterday, 2/3 of an inning, allowed a walk. But part of that bullpen effort, which shut down the final 4 frames in that 4-3 Wichita State win. Working out of the stretch off the first base side against Gam, who has laid down a sacrifice bunt and struck out.
A pretty straightforward situation here for Sandburn. He worked 2/3 of an inning yesterday, called upon to do the same. His outing prior to that as well was 2/3 at McNeese. That's really the biggest blemish that he's had so far, but kind of in that setup role for the closer Barnhouse right now.
Just outside with a fastball, 2 balls and no strikes. The senior right-hander, 6'2", 195 pounds, from Avon, Indiana, and he pitched in that crazy game down in McNeese, in which it was the Sunday game. Both staffs were tired. The wind was blowing out, and the result was a game in which both teams got into double digits in the run column. But here, a much different situation, trying to protect a 3-0 Wichita State lead. He's right in there with a strike on 2-0.
Well, he fits the profile for a late inning guy. He's got the mid to low 90s fastball, pretty good breaking ball, but he's a guy who has kind of found himself as more of a reliever. He's made a couple of spot starts in his career here at Wichita State, but he fits the back end profile well.
It's down, 3 balls and a strike, and the stuff has never been the question for Chandler Sandburn, but command has been spotty at times. He, in his career, has walked 43 in 77 innings of work. Good strikeout numbers, 69 in those 77 innings, but for him it is all about strike one, getting ahead and staying ahead. 3-1. That's right down the middle. It almost looked like Gam was taking all the way, and it runs full at 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him on a fastball up and in tight. That tied up Max Gam. And Chandler Sandburn comes back from a 3-1 count for a big second out.
Well, there's the stuff, and he battles back here. This is just a high fastball, high cheese. And Gam, who was just trying to find a way to get on base to bring that tying run up, gets into a situation where he has to do the damage. And Sandburn has that tough fastball, able to get the big out.
So it's back to the top for DeBonville, who has grounded out to short, flown out to center twice. Takes down. Shocker outfield shading DeBonville a little bit the other way. Genesta a couple steps towards the gap in right center. That's where he picked on for his 2-run double in the ballgame yesterday. Also had an infield hit and walked, but the Shockers have held him off the base pass so far today. Breaking ball never came around. 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, one thing I like about the matchup with Sandburn here is, even though it's kind of a similar situation in terms of the 8th inning, this is a different part of the lineup than Sandburn saw yesterday. So these are guys who actually didn't get to face Chandler and see that stuff.
2-0. Foul back to the screen. Good swing there from DeBonville as he was right on a fastball, but 2 balls and a strike. Tommy Barnhouse continuing to loosen down in the pen. Looks like he will be ready if there is any further trouble in this 8th inning. I'm sure Todd Butler would prefer to give him a clean 9th inning to work with. Upstairs, 94 on the gun from Sandburn, but he has now fallen behind again. 3 balls and a strike, and the last thing you want to do is bring the potential tying run to the plate. Caniglia still out at second base after his 1-out double. A couple of strikeouts sandwiched around it. Sandburn to the belt, and is 3-1. High pop-up, shallow left field. Not even going to get there. Boyer, the shortstop, makes the call and the catch. And Omaha turned aside in the top half of the 8th inning. Good work from Chandler Sandburn. To the home half we go. It's 3-0 Shockers.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Got a quarter?
Three 0 Wichita State as we move into the bottom half of the 8th inning. Chandler Sandburn helping to preserve the shutout by retiring Max Gam and Thomas de Bonville. That means we can close the book on Liam Eddy. 7 1/3 innings, 3 hits, and no runs for the freshman in his home debut. And Omaha has also turned it over to the bullpen. They will give it to junior left-hander Andrew Bright, 6'1", 165 pounds. He comes in to face the top of the Wichita State order, Luke Ritter, Grayson Genesta, and Alec Bohm. By no means a bad start for Joey Machado, but unfortunately he is on the hook for his second tough luck loss of the season, allowing 4 hits and the 3 runs as Brighton deals outside to Ritter.
And he pitched well today, too. I think that was the other thing, is he kept the Shockers off balance for most of it. You really have Bohm's double, Dugas home run that the Shockers really hit hard. And you think about that 7th inning that gave the Shockers the insurance runs, that was really built on finesse. The cue shot, a walk, an RBI ground out, and then a fly out. But it was all Machado for most of the game, and I think his numbers are even a little bit more skewed after today than they were coming into it.
Ritter was 0 for 3 against Machado with a couple of strikeouts, so he's happy to see him out of there. Takes a strike to move the count to 3-1. Second appearance of the season for Andrew Brighton. He worked a scoreless frame in the series against Northwestern, and he has worked his way back into the count full at 3-2.
Well, Ritter, in terms of approach, is a very prototypical leadoff guy. He's working and forcing you to show your hand even as a reliever comes in.
Chops it to the left side. Thibodeau, tough in between hop, throws on the run, and it's in time to get Ritter.
Well, converted second baseman over to the hot corner, and Thibodeau able to flash the leather a little bit coming in on that one. As he made that look fairly easy for what's a pretty tough play for any third baseman.
May have played it into an in-between hop a little more than he needed to, but
fair enough.
Ritter can get down the line in pretty good shape as Genesta with a massive swing, and he comes up empty, 0-1. Genesta still looking for his first knock of the day. He has ground out to second, struck out, and walked.
It kind of seemed like so far we're basically through 2 games of this series right now that Omaha has really tried to key in on Genesta in this series. They have seemed to have a very specific plan for him. They've tried a couple of different things, but kind of interesting that they've been so focused on Genesta and they've been trying to take his bat at least out of the lineup.
Well, he has been ultra aggressive early in counts. First pitch swinging in 3 out of his 4 at-bats today. Takes well down and outside 2-2. And I think that is something that Omaha has noticed, and they're feeding him a pretty steady diet of off-speed stuff early in counts.
Well, I was going to say, maybe that's part of the trigger there is you feel like you have a guy who's aggressive, you can allow him to get himself out rather than having to worry about working the count to him.
Lashes one out to second base, but it's right at Gam, who fields it on the backhand and throws to first. 2 up and 2 down for Wichita State here in the 8th, trying to get a little more insurance for Tommy Barnhouse, you would think, who will be the guy for the top of the 9th. Alec Boehm has had another very productive offensive day, 2 for 3. Ground rule double the deep center and a solid grounder through the left side his last time up in the 6th.
Well, by all accounts, Boehm has not been fooled at all this year. He has just seemed to take his same approach pretty much through every at-bat. There's a big reason why everybody around the country fears his bat in the middle of the lineup. It's not just a conference thing. It's not just a regional thing. Everybody knows about Boehm.
Brighton grabs the inside edge with a strike. Another one of these junior college transfers, the influx of new blood that the Mavericks have brought in this year under second-year head coach Evan Porter. Brighton a transfer from Lansing Community College, and he throws strike 2.
Well, that was something that Porter talked about in Omaha's media day at the beginning of the season, was about changing the attitude quite a bit. And they've gotten a lot of guys who are obsessed with winning, they've said. A lot of guys who don't, the guys who stuck around are very much about getting back to a winning attitude in a little bit different environment than they felt like they had last year.
1-2. Bounced. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Boehm. Mason O'Brien hoping for a shot in the on-deck circle, but it appears as though he might be lifted for a pinch hitter anyway, as Jacob Katzvey has come out and taken some practice swings. Boehm fouls it away. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There's Katzvey. Saw him with a first base glove today.
Yeah, might lead you to believe he'll be coming in anyway in the top half of the 9th inning as a defensive replacement. Popped up. Boehm on 2-2, skies it to the right side. Gam makes the call and the catch, and the Shockers go 1-2-3 in the home half of the 8th. 3 more outs to get. Shockers in front 3-0 on WSU-TV.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are
Wichita State in front by the score of 3-0. They have out-hit Omaha 4-3. The Mavericks committing the game's only error. And the story was Liam Eddy, the freshman right-hander, 7 1/3 shutout innings. It all started with a big double play that got him out of trouble in the first, and some early base running miscues from Wichita State eventually overcome thanks to the solo home run from Dayton Dugas and some big swings later, courtesy of Alex Jackson with the leadoff Q-shot single, and then some good productive at-bats from Gunnar Troutwine doing the job.
Dugas' home run got the Shockers going. That seemed like it allowed Liam Eddy to really settle in, and he was simply fantastic in the later innings as he was able to get the Shockers through 7 1/3.
Chandler Sandburn's going to get a chance to close this one out. He throws a first pitch strike to Cole Thibodeau, and it is 0-1. Sandburn able to get the last 2 outs of the 8th. He is going for his first career save. Thibodeau fouls it down the left field line, 0-2. Barnhouse is still up and ready, so you'd imagine if Sandburn encounters any kind of trouble here in the ninth that Tommy Barnhouse will get the call. There you see the big right-hander continuing to loosen.
Well, you also think about conserving arms for the second game, too, so maybe that's part of what goes into it.
0-2, flicked foul, had Thibodeau out on his front foot.
Got to believe if it was still the 1-0 game, maybe you would see Barnhouse here, but the 3-0 game allows some breathing room for Sandburn to work. Also, I think there's a confidence thing, right? His last 2 outings, he only worked 2/3 of an inning, so coming in, giving him a full inning of work, there's some composure stuff that goes with that.
And he blows away Thibodeau with a high fastball, 90 miles an hour. And he can't catch up as Chandler Sandburn sets down the Mavericks' third baseman to start things here in the ninth.
Just elevating to the left-hand hitter up around the letters, and Thibodeau can't touch it.
2 outs to get for Wichita State. Keel Crumweedy, the next man who stands in the way. He has walked, flown out to center, and struck out looking, all against the starter, Eddie. There's a strike.
Well, this was the part of the order that Sandburn saw yesterday. Crumweedy, Polinsky, and Rogers. But a good opportunity to bounce back a little bit as well, as he did walk Crumweedy in the lone matchup that they've had.
Shocker pitchers have now struck out 8, as Eddie had 6. Sandburn has recorded 2 since entering in the 8th. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Fastball right by him again. 90 on the outside edge. Tough to catch up with. And a 1-2 hole for Crumweedy.
He takes a little off of it, right? He can get up 93, 94 miles an hour, but that's a good location. That's a good 1-1 pitch right there.
On the outside corner, called strike 3. Chandler Sandburn with a couple of strikeouts to start things here in the ninth. And Wichita State 1 out away from a 5-0 start.
Changing speeds, that's 94 miles an hour of paint on the outside corner in a great spot right at the knees, right in the corner of the strike zone.
The only man who stands between Wichita State and a perfect start to 2018, Ben Polinsky. Grounded into a double play, flown out to left and lined to third. Pops it foul off to the right side. Jacob Katzvey, who has come on to play first base as we projected in the last half inning, gave it a look, but it's well back into the seats. 0-1. Just outside with a fastball, 95 on the gun from Sandburn. Shockers will have some guys down in this pen who can really get up there into the mid-90s. And Sandburn just one of several power arms available to Todd Butler and Mike Steele.
Well, we talked about the size of some of these guys earlier, but the arms on a lot of the bullpen guys, some of the starters, they can get it up there.
Oh, and then here's 84 on the inside corner right after you looked at 95 away. It's 1-2.
No chance. You just have no chance. There's no adjustment that a college hitter makes that pitch is one that you can hit.
Sandburn's 1-2. Up and away, maybe overthrew that one as it evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Polinsky. Omaha held to just 3 hits in this ball game. And the Shockers trying to record a shutout and a series win. Swing and a miss. Chandler Sandburn strikes out the side in the ninth. And Wichita State off to a 5-0 start. They win the first game of the doubleheader and make a winner out of Liam Eddy, who is outstanding in his freshman home debut.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Pretty similar story as yesterday afternoon, where pitching and defense carries the day for Wichita State. They get 3 runs on just 4 hits, but they make it stand up thanks to the work of Liam Eddy. 7 1/3 shutout innings. He improves to 2-0 on the season, and after those early hiccups in the first inning, virtually unhittable from that point on.
Well, the big answer for Wichita State is when you have a starter come in and chew up a ton of innings. And for the Shockers, it's been the freshman that they've turned to. 7 1/3 innings today. He looked very solid, and Chandler Sandburn looked excellent at the back end today as well.
Sandburn gets the save, an inning and 2/3. He struck out 4 of the 5 batters that he faced, including Ben Polensky, with a fastball in the outside corner, swing and a miss to seal it, as Wichita State improves to 5-0. Omaha falls to 2-3. We've got second game of the doubleheader coming up right around 2:48, and that will be Connor Lungwitz against Peyton Kinney, a couple of right-handers doing battle in the series finale as the Shockers go for the sweep. We'll talk to you then. For Tim Slack, my name is Denning Garrick. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a production of WSU TV.